Hey everybody, welcome to our show. My name is Jonathan Tripp. I'm the host of the show. This is a Friday wrap up. We are going to be talking about why social matters and what's happened. This is kind of our wrap up for the week and what's happening in social media and maybe how it's affecting our world and moving and reaching out beyond that. There's a lot. If you guys don't already know, one, thank you guys for watching us. If you guys know that you can watch us, watch me live on my page at jonathantripp.live. That's a great way. If you are out there and you just want to be able to see what the latest show is and you're just not sure where to go, Jonathan Tripp Live .live is actually the easiest way to go. There you can also sign up and be a part of our email community and get to know us a little bit better as we kind of go from update to update and show to show and things like that. And that page will be updated very regularly. But anyway, it is great to see everybody here. All right, so this week is social media, and I was sharing this beforehand. There has been so many things have been happening between Facebook and Snapchat. Twitter is evolving, and they're changing some of their things, right? And it's not just the platforms that are changing; it's how people are using them. And some of them, I'm troubled, and not that the way that the users are, but what it's captured. And I don't think it's any mystery or anything to be ashamed about that we talk about this, and because it bothers me, this issue, what's been happening this week, and we've caught on camera live, and this is not a political statement; it's a people. And what we see is that two men, black men, lost their lives this week. And it was caught on camera. Very, very difficult. I watched it. I forced myself to watch it. I don't like to watch that. And not because they're black or because I don't like to watch human suffering. It's not something I don't view it as entertainment. I don't view it as something that I want to put in, but I felt the need to, and I felt it was important. We watched it through Facebook Live. We watched the reactions. And as a father, as a husband, as somebody that I love, there are people out there, watching some of those was very difficult. And then the episodes in Dallas with the shootings of police officers and civilians and losses of lives and families now being torn apart on the other end of it. And the reason I bring this up is not only, one, we need to be mindful as people, because that is what in the social media realm that we're watching, we're observing, and we cannot be passive audience members. And I'm not saying a call to arms or to be militant, but you do need to speak up. And I think it's something that I know for me, it's easier for me to be quiet. And so as of today, I am speaking out about it. I plead for justice. And a friend of mine suggested this. Just like Job in the Bible, and the story goes, this man lost everything, family, wealth, even his own health. And what he did, instead of acting out and he sat in the ashes, seeking God's face. And whether or not you believe in God, I think the principle is love. Reach out, love, because even with people that are hurting, I think it's a better response than to go out and grab another gun and to cause more violence, even though you are angry. And I, for one, would rather see our country go that way, see our culture go that way, rather than react with more violence. Whether or not you agree, that's not even the point. The point is that we need to stop this violence. We need to change our perspective, and allowing even social media to be a vehicle for that message rather than to communicate more hate, more violence, and to seek justice, true justice, not revenge. So we've seen in this week, we've seen tragedy being documented live. And I don't, again, I don't like to get into the politics of it because there are just so many ways to look at it. I find it less and less and less productive to be political. Now, having said that, guys, what is the point? What is the good that I see out of it? And this is where I want, while we talk about that, it's okay, but we cannot dwell there. So what is the good that happened out of this week? In spite of the tragedy, the horrible tragedy, this is what I see as good. That people were able to watch and to see something that would be otherwise hidden. They were able to experience and join both in the grief and the sorrow, but being able to stand up and actually give them a voice too, for when we know that things are going wrong. We're able to see that. All right? So, that is one of the big things. We've seen this, we've seen a slight turn. I think within social media, particularly with the live streams, we saw the sit-in with the Senate being, when C-SPAN, here in the U.S., when C-SPAN turned off the cameras, Twitter cameras came on, right? We saw, obviously we saw a video being uploaded, about senseless deaths. We saw Facebook Live reactions, and how it's personally affecting people. And while the situations are not good, I see that the overall use of Facebook Live, Periscope, a lot of these other live video streams, they are a good thing. The incidents, and Donna, I just want to be really want to make sure that I'm very clear. The incidents in being portrayed were not good. They were horrible and tragic. But there is good coming out of it. And that's what I want to really focus on, is that that what we're seeing is, and I think this is an inspiration for each one of us here to use it, use Facebook Live. And it's obviously not everybody that we don't really need to focus on just using a live stream to capture super significant events. If you're capturing your daily lives, share that joy. We need a little bit more today. But when it comes to social media live, I was watching, I don't know how, I must have been watching 4 streams at once yesterday, trying to catch up with a bunch of things. And of course, I missed one of the ones that I had wanted to see, but that's all right. I had to go back and then I had to watch the other live stream events. Okay. So what we're seeing now, I think, is a major shift in the way that people are using and then also relying on live streaming media. Okay, and Facebook is really being put right into the middle of it because of their streaming service and because of how big their reach is. When our reach is like 20% of the planet, there's implications with that. Okay, so now having said that, I think there's some things that you guys really need to pay attention to that I think are going to be really important, and kind of getting, now that we understand some of the tragedy of it, how are we using this for good and to be moving forward, and understanding some of the tools so that when we need to react and when we need to speak up, we have a voice and a way to do it. Okay. And that includes both on your personal side as well as in your business, if you see something that's important. So let's kind of shift gears a little bit. And I do want to talk about another, it's a battle, and I hate to say it, I don't mean to be quite using that terminology, and I should probably find a better way to say it. But the struggle between with Facebook. Facebook, I see they are taking on 2 different entities. They're taking on Periscope and Twitter, and they're also taking on Snapchat. And I think that's really a key distinction to understand where social media is going, and there's a reason that Facebook feels that they need to do that. I think that they see their strategic plan as using video, and then particularly live video, and the number one outside of them for live video that grabbing people's attention and users' attention was Periscope. So taking that on and having that style of live video within their chat and within their app was absolutely crucial. But here's what's happened. That I think they making that move, making that more Periscope move, was part of their overall decision a long time ago to emphasize personal connections, friends and family over businesses. And we already saw that coming. And you guys all know that was the day that Facebook fan pages died, right? You were getting great, I think it was January of 2015, you were getting great organic reach, and you didn't always have to pay for it, and you knew that you could do and grow your page certain ways. Well, they cut that, and a lot of people really had a hard time. Well, they're cutting it even more, so that now, if you want to reach, I guarantee you that it is pay to play, even to a further extent. And there's a little bit of a way around it. And it's not foolproof, but it's a way, all right? It's lists. And you guys know Twitter lists and things like this, right? The way, if you want certain people to show up in your timeline, how do you do that? You have to like and interact with their content, plain and simple. It's very simple. It's a very simple concept, right? And so the way I try to do this now is I manage my friends, my Facebook friends, through lists. And so I go through and, I have like childhood friends or people that I know from a particular area. I have family, and I have my business friends. These are the people that I know that are interested in my business side of what I do, because not all my personal friends really care anything to do with what we're talking about today. Most of them don't, and that's okay. And I think that's what makes Blab great. Okay, what I think makes Facebook great, and talking about Blab, I was just thinking about that, going, that's what we loved about Blab, and obviously now we're having to take that elsewhere. Okay, so as I say that, I need to share out my our Facebook live stream today. Herbie, thanks for sharing that out. I really appreciate that. So I need to share it over to our Facebook group, which, by the way, if you haven't already, please join our Facebook group today. The easiest way to do that is over at group.jonathantripp.com. And if most of the time I see it pop up, and I really try to get on those approvals, and so we can continue and be able to make better connections. So, but that's the way that is. So if we know that our Facebook feed is getting changed because of the changes in, just understand that I think it's actually a good thing. Hopefully it will give us more relevant and less noise and junk. I personally, with the exception of one cat or /ferret video, think I've ever seen that? It's the ferret jumping video. It's funny. I needed it just in that moment, but for the most part, honestly, I don't really care. I really don't, and it doesn't. I don't feel that it really benefits my Facebook feed. And it's interesting going through a lot of my friends recently, the Facebook, and I'll be honest, I went through and I unfriended a whole bunch of people. I just don't need that. I don't need their feeds in my feed. Their timelines and their feeds in my timeline. There we go. Because either they're producing things that I just don't feel are very relevant. They're not helpful. It's so I just think it's interesting. That's what's actually happening, that we're seeing that they changed it from the over to the friends and the family. So how do we manage it? Guys, make smaller lists of your friends and or the certain kinds of people that you want to see. And I guarantee you that what will happen in the long run is that your feed, if you interact with certain groups, you're going to see them more often. And the reason why I bring it up like that is this, okay? And I've seen this on my mobile more than I have on my timeline. I'm scrolling through on my mobile, and I get to a certain point and I don't see any more stories. And it actually prompts me, the mobile app, Facebook app, is prompting me to find more friends, because it's essentially, according to the algorithm, run out of people or run out of items to show me on a timeline that it thinks that's relevant to me. Now, I as of, let me see if I can find this out. Like, as of right now, I mean, I think I have like maybe 1,400 friends on Facebook, and I for the most part, if I haven't come into contact with you personally, you're then a business, and I will tag you, and you're in my friends list, but you're in business. So when I make a business post, only my business friends are going to see it, not my friends and family. They don't need to know that I just went live. And so, like, for instance, I've already shared this this broadcast out onto Facebook Live from my fan page to my personal profile, but only my business friends are going to be able to see this. This way, it shrinks the pool of people that it's going to get exposed to, and I'm only sharing it with those people that I think would be interested in it. And if the algorithms, and we're going to see how that actually goes out, instead of just sharing it out onto every to every friend and whatnot, I want to I'm going to try this and see how the algorithm, because they made a big change. That's why the follow feature exists on Facebook. It would not have been clear before, but yeah, exactly. That's a really good point. Q, that there is a follow, and there are some people you're just friends with and you can connect with, but there are some people, honestly, I just unfriended. I don't have a connection. I really don't want to see what's in there, and maybe the friendships changed or the connections changed, but I will say this: if you guys are interested, I mean, follow me on my personal profile. If not, follow me. I mean, I'm on Facebook in a couple different places, so I think it's kind of it's how you want to play it out, in my opinion. That's kind of how that works. Let's think here. What another aspect, and because where I wanted to talk about Facebook. So you don't like me anymore? Oh, no. Yeah. So I don't know. You should be in that, Nazim. You should be able to see that. Now, and this actually kind of brings up another really important part about how your news feeds are changed. How many of you guys have seen people that copy and paste that? Hey, this is for everybody, and this will tell me if people actually read my profile, and copy and paste this, right? That's silly, and here's the reason why. Facebook does not, and has never, well, at least since 2006. Did you know that in 2006 was when they rolled out their news feed? But it's been for a while now. Facebook does not let your particular post go out to every single friend that you have. So not every single friend is going to see that post. And so the assumption is that only those that actually are actively with you, are actively commenting, and through the algorithms are going to see it. So you're actually, even though you post that, only a very small amount. That's why do you think it is that when you post a really great picture about your coffee mug, and here's the listen, this is a great, look at this. This is a beautiful cup of coffee. Why do you think it is that not everybody likes it? Because everybody likes coffee, right? The mug shot. That's right. That's my mug shot. No, versus when somebody says like, oh, I have an anniversary or a birthday, they actually go when a post or a picture starts to get some engagement, likes, comments, shares, and things like this, Facebook algorithm kicks in and goes, oh, apparently this is a really good thing. We want to see more. We think that based on these reactions from this small pool, we're going to have more. So here's the thing. Why don't you make a list of people and share that content with just that list of people that are super interested in what you do? Possibly it's pay to play. Yeah, Q, it is. It is a pay to play. Are our buffer posts a waste of time? Okay, yes. I'm going to say this. Your buffer posts are a waste of probably, for me. Okay, so if I've got 1,400 friends, 400 to 500 are business people that I'm connected through business. That means I have almost around 900 to 1,000 people that are probably not, or that I would judge, if I've made my list correctly, I would judge that are not interested in. So why is this really important? That when I make a post, that it goes out in what I want is that I only want, it's kind of like, I only want people that are interested in to see the post. Okay, and this is what they did, is that they're clearing the news feed, your people's news feed, one, for more relevant content. So friends and family are going to be way more relevant than seeing Jonathan Tripp live. Okay, it just, the truth of it is, okay, even though maybe some people want to see it, but here's the other thing: they're clearing it out so that if businesses want to be shown, now they've got room to sell more advertising. That's how I'm seeing it, as well as making room for video. Okay, this is the reason why last, was it November-ish, December-ish, we started our group. While I do have a Facebook page, and I kept it, and I grow it only as needed. I use it to share out, because I want to make sure I stick with some rules and things like this within the Facebook guidelines in terms of service. I put a lot more of my energy into the group. And if you guys are watching this out there, you can find us over at group.jonathantripp.com. That is simply a forwarding address to our Facebook address. It just takes you right there, and it's meant to be that way. Okay, so why is this all together? Why is this really important? Okay, and I want to kind of segue. We've talked about live stream, and I think the impact that it's having, the news feed, how it's changing to accommodate more ads and to accommodate more live stream video, as well as some of their pushed content and paid for content. Okay, that's what I see is happening. The other thing that they're doing with Facebook is doing with live stream, I think it really is going head to head with Snapchat. And you know the old adage: if you can't beat them, join them. And I think Facebook actually flipped it on its head, and since they tried to buy Snapchat and got basically the big thumbs down, the big no, so they flipped it. So instead of joining them, beat them. So they're actually, instead of being able to buy them, they're just going to try to grab the bigger market share and potentially run them out of business. Okay, so instead of just trying to do a bigger product launch, they're competing with them head to head. The face masks, the face overlays, the chat, the live video. I mean, they are really going out of their way to make sure that they establish themselves as the place to be. You don't need Snapchat now. You don't need Periscope now. You can do everything within Facebook, and it's not a secret. But out of this, and I do want to get into Snapchat and what I've seen that they're doing. I do want to get into a class action lawsuit and share this. Now, it doesn't affect everybody, but I think the implications do. There's a couple of biometric law sets, and again, I'm not a law expert, but basically there are laws in certain states, one of them being Illinois and the other one being California, where there is a class action lawsuit because they're saying that Facebook has the largest in ill-gotten biometric, and by biometric meaning it could be a voice imprint, it could be a fingerprint, it could be face recognition. These are all biometric things about yourself. They're biometric identifiers with yourself. And so what they're trying to do is they're bringing about a lawsuit, in summary, that says, look, Facebook, by offering this service in this state, is violating that state law. Well, here's the implications, right? They may either discontinue certain services to that state, because this is a loss of millions of dollars. This is not a small lawsuit. This is a class action lawsuit. The implications are this: is that what if, how many of you guys have had identity theft? Have been your credit card stolen, your social security number been used on something like this, right? But when it comes to collecting your biometric data, you can change your social security number here in the US. You can change your credit card, get a new bank account. You can do those things. You can change your name. What you cannot do, and this is the argument of why they say this is so dangerous and why there's so much potential loss at this. They're saying that one thing that you can't change is your face. You can't change your face. And so when they're collecting this data about you, your face structure, so that when they do, and Snapchat does the same thing. And so there's a bunch of these companies that are now starting to face these problems. Facebook is just the biggest dog on the block, and so they get hit first, right? So when you guys do that the face recognition within Snapchat, or you have the face overlays in the Facebook Live, that's where they actually they're contouring your face. That is a biometric. In the same way, if they took your thumbprint, how many of you guys think that Facebook should have your thumbprint? Well, it's basically the same thing. So people are they're having some major issues, not just in this is a lawsuit, you're breaking law. They're actually thinking of what the implications of this are. Okay. Apple has your face. Yeah. And I know on the back of my Samsung, there's a thumb scanner. And again, we're seeing that there's less and less privacy. And here's another aspect of this, and then we'll kind of go on to the next story that I wanted to talk about. What we're seeing is that the millennial and younger generation, they're way more accepting, and they're way more open to this kind of a privacy being taken, okay, versus millennial, older generations than millennial. And as you get older and away from that millennial generation, you're finding that privacy is a bigger and a bigger deal, and that they don't want all that information out there. And I think that's a really interesting, opinion based on the demographic. So the younger you are, they're more accepting because they grew up, they're social natives. But the older generations that have come to even, just adapt it, use it, and accept it, they're even more adverse to having certain amounts of privacy taken away from them. But I think, honestly, and I'm saying this as a late 30s, so I'm kind of like borderline for millennial Gen X, but I think we need to accept the fact that there is less and less absolute privacy when using social media as a way to better customize the experience. And that's what people want when they're using their social media, but they want all the benefits and none of the negatives. So now, having said that, the news, I just caught this, and I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but it's something I think that's kind of funny. The kids are now getting upset that they call them the oldies are now on Snapchat. They say, you've ruined our app. And the first person that came to mind was Sandra. Yep, it's now a news story. You look it up, and maybe I'll post it. But it is kind of funny that they're getting to the point where they're now, some of them are saying, look, I don't want to be on Snapchat. My mom's on Snapchat now. Right? They just don't want to go there. But they I guess this younger generation thought that they had cornered the market on using Snapchat, and I just kind of think it's funny. But it's apparently it's a thing. So for those of you guys that are using Snapchat, keep doing it. Make it better. I think having a little bit more responsible content will make actually, and a little bit more of influencers and thinkers out there. I think, but the more that people use the platform, I think the better it will be. All right. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. Okay. Now talking about Snapchat, and I want to bring this up because I think this is really cool. Okay. Snapchat has hired or is hiring a top level, and I'm going to pull the story up here if I can. Is hiring out a top level special effects guy. Okay, and I think it's pronounced Raphael Dickreuter. Okay, and this guy has been involved with like Iron Man, a lot of those visual effects and things. And what they're trying to do is work on an augmented reality sunglasses. So you put these glasses on, and it superimposes in the world that you're seeing a a reality that they can put on top of it. So while maybe you're walking through the city, you can see certain other things that maybe like an advertisement on a building. That's how I'm going to say it. Okay. Glasses that make people most positively. No, I don't even think it's going to be that. I think it's what they're doing is that they're bringing augmented reality. So you're walking through the real world, but you're seeing extra things that really aren't there because they're digitally imposing them on the world. I think this is fantastic technology. I think this is going to be great. Okay, because that probably means that if I could just see how this is working, that you could actually have those people that are it's linked to your phone, that you could be in your Wonder Woman outfit. You could have that augmented that reality put over. You could have an Iron Man suit. You could there's just so many. You could have like the Loki horns. I'm just picking out Marvel characters just for comic characters just for fun. But my whole point really is you can be somebody that you're not because of these augmented reality. And I really do think that it's really cool, one, to see that they're actually going to go there. Hopefully it's like Google Glass, but way better, and a lot more fun than that. So, but I thought that was really interesting that they're actually bringing in special effects people outside of social media to make that Snapchat experience better. Along with that, how many of you guys know some of the changes at Snapchat? So we were talking about Facebook and how they're just trying to create this all-in-one platform that you don't need, and they're directly competing with Twitter and Periscope. The other one they're competing with is Snapchat, and for very good reasons. One of the changes we know that this is really going on is because of not only just what we talked about with Snapchat and in developing some augmented reality things, particularly with sunglasses and things like that. But we're also seeing that they're changing some fundamentals about the platform, including, and for those of you guys that are using it, what about introducing Snapchat Memories? Okay, Snapchat Memories. How many of you guys have heard that, know about it? Maybe you've kind of been like, oh, that's kind of cool, or any of that, right? So here's the thing. This is now making Snapchat more like Instagram. Okay. I'm really like, and I don't use Snapchat that much. I really don't. But because I actually use it a lot more for watching than I use for producing content. But here's the thing. I'm seeing that what they're trying to do is give you a reason to be able to stay in the app. And it's very interesting as what they're allowing you to be able to make more content and keep it within that app on your mobile, and to see this is a real direct competition with Facebook, which is you can make you make whatever the content, the video, the picture, the post, and and it's on Facebook. It's and even Facebook has like their memories version, where you can go back. They see this day in history, and I just shared one of my pictures that happened 2 years ago today, and it was it's been the hardest and best 2 years of my life, but I had the opportunity, and Facebook is doing that, but now. But Snapchat's doing that, and I really think that's kind of cool. And again, I see it as another way that Snapchat is trying to stay relevant, is trying to increase the ways that you can engage on the platform, not just a quick one-off, but you're able to stay there. And I think it's gonna be Snapchat for the win in the long run, as long as they don't fumble the ball, or so to speak, or they kind of stumble along the way. But I do think that Snapchat really has established itself as a really great alternative to those that don't want to use Facebook. Okay, so that's what I was seeing with that. So beyond that, we've kind of talked, in the last little bit that I wanted to talk today was I want to talk about some of the live stream broadcasting platforms. I'm not talking about Facebook, because we already talked a lot about that already. I wanted to actually talk a little bit about Huzzah and Fire Talk. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not the expert. Just because I broadcast every day doesn't mean that I know everything about everything, okay? There are plenty of people, and I've actually never done a personal broadcast in Fire Talk. I've been a part of them, I've been on it, but I've never actually broadcast myself from Fire Talk. And this is the reason why this caught my eye was the announcement that Fire Talk is adding on the ability to bring in more than just one other person on the screen. And for many of you, that was a big block. That was a big, oh, I can only get one other person on the screen. Well, I want to have, 2, 3, 4 people on screen, and we can chat like in video, because that reminds us of all the good days of Blab. Okay. And it's super great. I like it. I've heard that they're still kind of working out some of the kinks. That with 4 on, it's great. With 3, it's a little iffy. It's a little weird. But I think that's more of a tech issue. That's not a the platforms, let's watch out, right? And so, Sandra, I see your comment. You're absolutely right. It kind of goes, Now there's an alternative to Blab, a free alternative to Blab, a free, stable, shareable, chattable alternative to Blab. And I wanted to play around with that, but someone beat me to the punch. Someone is going to do a broadcast today, and her name is Bonnie Frank, and she posted it. Actually, she tagged me, and I'm going to share that link in our group today, okay? Because she is she's doing a show, and I'm gonna do my very best to be there. And I can't remember if it's 11 o'clock in 15 minutes or if it's 11 o'clock her time, or an hour back. I don't remember which one. No, it's within like an hour to an hour and a half from right now. But here's the thing, right? I know a bunch of you guys have, and I haven't wanted to be on Fire Talk because of that. Because the way I like to do my shows, and I know lately we've been kind of doing some different things. But here's one of the interesting parts, right? I've had a Fire Talk account for a while, and I might have like 40 subscribers, and I literally do nothing on the platform. I find it very difficult to find people. There is no search function. Now, the same can be said for Huzzah. I know that. We're going to get there. I found it very difficult, to find other shows. I found it very difficult and concerning that, that it only allowed one broadcaster and one guest. That all in all, that's why I said no. I don't want to put this show and go over to Fire Talk. Well, okay, Donnie, thank you so much. So Bonnie's show is at 11 a.m. Central Time. I will put that link for her show, her Fire Talk show, or if somebody has it, you guys can drop it in the here in the show in Huzzah for us, because I want to encourage you guys. I'll go over, give her some great support. There's a shop, you can tip people, there's a lot of these kinds of things, okay? That feel, you can password protect certain broadcasts and things like this, and not just the channel. You can do a lot of these different things, and I really like that. Now, I am very sad to say I was not a part of the broadcast for yesterday for Huzzah, that the founders, Nick and Justin, were putting on. I just wasn't able to make it. I have seen some changes in the platform. Donnie, you said earlier in the show that, and I'm talking to those in the chat here in Huzzah, that they fixed a couple of the problems, they solved your issue, and I'm glad to hear that. One, that they're responsive. Two, I'm seeing that there are some updates, some things that are a little bit changing here and there. That means that they're working on the platform as a whole. One of the other things that I'm seeing that the links are now clickable. I think they're working on profile clicks and things like this. I like what I'm seeing in Fire Talk. In Huzzah. However, is it enough to keep me? Because if Fire Talk is providing almost all the same services for free, with the stability. And again, Nazim, I see a lack of directory on the homepage. I don't care what platform you're on. That is a little bit more difficult. That's I'm on the fence. But I will say this. I mean, we have a whole bunch of things that are causing me to kind of look sideways at Huzzah. And if it continues in this trend, now I've only been on this platform for about 2 weeks ish, give or take a little bit. I don't think it's been that long, but it hasn't been very long. A lot of the features, I'm used to it. It does seem longer, and I'm just, but I mean, it's because we do a show every day, right? But I'm just wondering if Fire Talk is a better option because of the changes that they've recently made. Before, it wasn't a good option, but because of the certain features, that I'm really hate the way people call it. Shirley, you're right. Very good. I don't think everybody gets that one, but I do. I would seriously consider. I'm not, and you guys heard me earlier this week in I'm not married to this platform, and neither would I be married to Fire Talk. I would look to no matter what I do, is that I'm married to the show, and no matter where we go, what I don't want to do is just platform hop. That would concern me, and as a listener, I would hope that it would concern you. But if there's a really good reason, and so I want to join today, Pat. I want to join Bonnie today, and see what she's doing, how she's using it. I mean, I know a bunch of you, a good handful of you, are on Fire Talk. And I'd love to bring over the 70, 80 subscribers that we have, because we do have people that rewatch the shows. I want to take, I'll be more than happy to take the 78 that subscribe to this show on this platform, plus the couple hundred that subscribe to the show on the other platforms and through the email list, et cetera, et cetera. Bring them all over to Fire Talk. I have no problem with that. I just want to make sure before we go that Fire Talk is legit, that they actually mean what they say. So when they bring it on, they've got a good platform. That's my bottom line, right? So anyway, I see a lot of the comparisons and things like this, and I'm going to be really paying attention to this, because I think out of these, Fire Talk is a little bit older, well, considerably older. Huzzah's newer, so I think that they have a lot more room to grow. They don't have a past to sit on and to say, oh, well, they want to stay true to our mission. Huzzah is a broadcasting platform, primarily thinking in terms of the business side. And I would want to make sure that Fire Talk has that aspect, but I'm certainly not loyal to one or the other, in the same way that, I had no problem saying, no more Blab. We're not going to host the show on Blab. I show up, we do a pre-show there, we kind of talk, it's fun, but the actual show happens on this platform for right now. But who knows if as things go on, I want to see how Fire Talk behaves and how it reacts to having lots of people in the show, having multiple viewers on. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. So now, having said that, I think what I'm going to do is I know it's the Friday wrap-up show. We've talked about Facebook. We've talked about the tragedies in the U.S. and the good that can come out of it. We've talked about Snapchat and their innovations. We've talked about the live stream platforms and some of the how they are listening to the users and how they're changing the platform. And I'm really excited to see where this is going to be going. I really do think I really like doing these Friday wrap-up shows, where it's going to be in every week. I'm going to be changing a little bit of the format and making it better, because guys, I mean, if we stay still and we don't improve our business, then we're quickly going to get left behind, and not just in a good way. And so I want to try to keep bringing some really fun and interesting topics, bring in some guests and things like that in the coming days. This coming Monday, we're going to have another show. As a matter of fact, all of next week, a really easy way, if you're not sure where to find me, go over there, jonathantripp.live, and you'll be able to see the show. We'll host it there, and I will start to put a couple of links in there, so if you want to join the chat, you can, and things like that. But with having said that, I'm really excited. I'm really pleased to be able to have call you friends and viewers, and I really appreciate everyone that shows up day in and day out, and listening and participating here in the chat and watching us on the other platforms. Guys, I really appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you shortly.